This is the Book of Things. It has information on all things, past, present, and future, as well as anything that's happened before or since. It was written in the ancient language of a long-dead civilization, whose language just so happens to be identical to that of modern-day English. It can be understood by any creature, living, dead, or otherwise. Its pages are infinite and finite, and are organized in no discernible manner, though they could not be arranged in any other possible way. It was inked with the blood of an angel and bound with the skin of a demon, edited by a madman and blessed by a shaman. The tomato hails from the deadly nightshade family of flowering plants. It has been grown, cultivated, and eaten by countless civilizations for thousands of years, ever since it first appeared in 422 BC in the Gregorian calendar, or 13 days earlier in the Julian calendar, also known as 1 ET, or Era of the Tomato. The tomato first appeared when the seeds of an apple accidentally fertilized the womb of a virgin jellyfish. The tomato was thought to be poisonous until the mid-18th century in parts of Western Europe. This was due in large part to England's intense fear of flavor. While England eventually capitulated, accepting the tomato into its cuisine, it is still known to be poisonous if eaten in large amounts if you are a horse. This amount has been carefully calculated to be enough to kill a horse. The tomato goes by many names, including the wolf peach and fat water with navel. It is pomodoro in Italian and pomidor in Russian, and in English both tomato and tomato. This inconsistency drove composer George Gershwin to near madness, the linguistics quandary plaguing him his entire career, until in 1937, or 2359 ET, he penned an insipid song that did nothing to alleviate the tomato of its pronunciation problems. The main predator of the tomato is the South American tomato moth, scientifically known as Tuta absoluta. The moth spends most of its time eating tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and tobacco, and introducing itself as the tomato leaf miner, insisting its name is not Tuta absoluta. Ever since the 2360s ET, the town of Bunal, Spain, has held a festival in which participants from around the world come to throw 170 tons of tomatoes at one another. This festival is known to the Spaniards as La Tomatina. It is known to the tomatoes as the bloodbath of Bunal. The tomato famously sat before the United States Supreme Court in what would become a Herculean effort to prove to the world that it was, in fact, a fruit. Its supporters argued vigorously for the tomato's fruitness, citing the fact that its seeds were on the inside. And anyway, what right did the court have to classify the tomato as anything? Shouldn't it really be up to the tomato to identify however it preferred? Despite the passion of its supporters, the court ruled unanimously against the tomato, citing the fact that its defense was way too metaphysical for the court to bother trying to understand. That, coupled with the fact that vegetables were taxed at a higher rate than fruit, forever condemned the tomato to vegetabledom in the eyes of the law. The tomato's natural color is yellow, though it is painfully shy and blushes easily. There were 3 tomatoes present at the Battle of New Orleans, though none took part in the fighting. And it has been said that the tomato was the original inspiration for the wheel. While this is not true, it was the original inspiration for ennui. This has been a reading from the Book of Things.